9 years ago, one night, in the pouring rain, Woody and the gang race to save a lost toy. Woody tells Bo about the problem, and they spot RC in the rain. This is nothing they haven't handled before, so they decide to try Operation Pull Toy. Bo does some quick thinking to get Woody closer to RC and rescue him just before a car pulls into the driveway. Before Woody is pulled in, the window shuts and Bo is put in a box with Billy, Goat, and Gruff, destined for a new owner. Woody meets them outside, where he tries to rescue them, but Bo says that she's ready for the next chapter in her life. Woody tries to object, but instead, she invites him to go with her, because toys get lost all the time. He considers it, but when he hears Andy's voice calling for him, he backs away, saying goodbye isn't easy. Over the next 9 years, Woody and the other toys stay with Andy until he grows up, and passes them along to Bonnie. They wait anxiously for her to return home, but no one is as anxious as Woody. He hasn't been played with in a long time. She assigns roles to each of her toys, but she doesn't need Woody, just his badge, because Jesse is the sheriff now. The old clock congratulates him on his first dust bunny. While Bonnie plays, her dad says it's time to go to kindergarten orientation, and she's not allowed to bring toys. Jesse and Buzz try to comfort Woody about his rejection. Woody tells Dolly he thinks Bonnie should be allowed to bring a toy to school, even if it's only on the first day. Dolly tells everyone to get back into their places, because Bonnie always forgets something. Woody's hunch is proven to be correct when Bonnie comes back to her room crying. Her parents come in and make her feel a little better, but Woody has snuck into her backpack. Bonnie feels alone and scared, and when she starts crying, Woody can't help but take action. He sneaks into the trash can and throws art supplies at her. Bonnie creates a little friend to help her through the day. When her parents pick her up, they tell her about a road trip they're taking before school starts. She puts Forky into the backpack with Woody, who's feeling pretty good about helping her. He jokingly tells Forky he did a good job too, and is mortified when he springs to life with a scream. Bonnie says a quick hello and goodbye to her toys when she drops off her backpack. The toys scold Woody for going with Bonnie, and potentially getting her in trouble. He says she had a great day, even though something weird happened when she made a friend. No, like actually made a friend. After Forky's introduction, all he can say is trash, no matter how many times Woody tells him he's a toy. He fishes him out of the trash for Bonnie, even though Forky keeps hopping back in the trash can. He tells Woody that Bonnie is scary. When she grabs Woody instead, he falls asleep by her side. The next morning, Buzz offers Woody help to watch Forky on the road trip, but Woody swears he's got it under control. Buzz follows up with him after a full day of traveling, and Woody admits it's hard, but his conscience won't let him give up. Buzz is intrigued that Woody receives guidance from his inner voice, but he thinks he's referring to his pull string. Buzz pushes his own button, and when the voice sounds, they notice that Forky is gone. He tells Woody he's not a toy, but a spork that was made for soup, salad, or maybe even chili, and then the trash. He calls himself litter and yells, "Freedom." As he jumps out of the RV, Woody quickly asks him how much farther it is to the RV park. He says it's about 5.5 miles. Woody says he can make that, and before anyone can stop him, he jumps out the window and flies off the bumper when they hit a bump. He finds Forky and starts dragging him to the RV park. Forky asks Woody to carry him, and Woody says no. He asks why he has to be a toy instead of trash, and Woody tells him it's because Bonnie wrote her name on the bottom of his sticks. She plays with him and sleeps with him because he's her toy. He's actually very lucky to be the one that she plays with and has memories with for the rest of her life. Forky doesn't get it. Woody is starting to lose his patience and says that whether he likes it or not, he is a toy, so he needs to be there for Andy, and that's when Forky asks who Andy is. Woody corrects himself and says it's Forky's job to be there for Bonnie. Forky asks what Woody's job is, and he says right now it's to keep Forky there for Bonnie. He asks Woody again to carry him, and he says no. Forky asks who Andy is, so Woody tells him he was his last kid. Forky is surprised to hear this. Woody says it was really great, and running the room was his job. Sometime later, as they continue walking, Forky thinks it's so funny that when he first got there, Buzz thought Andy's room was a whole planet. He laughs and says that is messed up. Before long, Woody is carrying Forky and explaining that one day, Andy was all grown up and leaving. He says it was good that he did his job, but he was left feeling. Forky says uselessly, with his purpose fulfilled. Woody agrees. Forky says he knows what Woody's problem is, he's trash. Just like him, it's warm, cozy, and safe. Like someone's whispering in your ear that everything is gonna be okay. Woody says that's exactly how he makes Bonnie feel, and suddenly, Forky gets it. He shakes with the realization that Bonnie needs him, so he takes off running to find her. Woody is about to follow Forky across a street when he sees a familiar light on the pavement. He finds Bo's lamp in the window of an old antique shop. Woody grabs Forky and says they'll be back before Bonnie wakes up. As they walk around, they call out for Bo. Instead, they encounter Gabby and her friend Benson. Woody asks if they know Bo Beep, just as Gabby notices Woody's pull string. She says they know Bo, and they'll take them to her. While in the carriage, she asks Woody when he was made. He says probably late 50 seconds, which happens to be the same as Gabby. She wonders if they could have been made in the same factory, and marvels at Woody's great condition. Gabby shows him her voice box, which doesn't work, unlike Woody's. She insists that he can stay a bit longer, even though the store is about to open. He has just what she needs. Woody takes a leap of faith with Forky in hand. The creepy Benson dolls close in on them until they grab Forky. A little girl hears the commotion and picks up Woody. She takes him to the park with her grandma's permission. Woody is very concerned, just like all the other toys back at the RV. Bonnie wakes up in a panic when she can't find Forky. Her parents take her outside to look, and the toys talk about what they should do. Buzz presses the button on his suit for his conscience to guide him. It tells him there's no time to explain, and they must move out, so Buzz takes off. Buzz decides to use the amusement ride at the fair for a better view, and heads for the road where Woody jumped out of the RV. His plan fails when he tumbles to the ground, and is collected by a game operator to be given away as a prize. Woody makes his escape from Harmony as soon as he can, but he is met with a busload of children arriving at the park. He's amazed by all the happiness and joy surrounding him, when he is suddenly met face to face with Bo herself. She takes him to a hidden spot where they can talk, and Woody finds out Bo has been a lost toy for 7 years. Seconds later, a remote skunk appears, with Billy, Goat, and Gruff inside. Woody gets all their names wrong. Bo Peep introduces Giggs, a little tiny cop that's been told plenty about Woody. Combat Carls arrive and tell Bo they're off to a birthday party. She invites Woody to come along, but he says he can't, because he has to get back to his kid. He gets high five for beating the odds, and Woody tells Bo about Andy going off to college, and how he gave all the toys to Bonnie. Bo is happy to hear Woody has a little girl. He says she's part of the reason he's at the park right now, because he was bringing Forky back to her when he lost him in Second Chance Antiques. Bo knows that store and swears she's not going back. Woody pleads with her and says Bonnie needs Forky like Molly needed her. Giggs says she didn't know Bo had a kid, and Woody reminisces about how cute Molly was and how she needed Bo as her nightlight. She used to cry every night before she got Bo in the room. Woody plays with Bo's heartstrings, so she caves in and agrees to help him get Forky back. Benson fixes Forky, and Gabby says it's only a matter of time before Woody comes back for him. He's a special toy because he has Bonnie's name on his feet. When Harmony returns, Forky wonders if she lost Woody, but Gabby says Harmony wouldn't do that, because she's perfect. Gabby says that when her voice box is fixed, she'll be ready to meet her. Forky starts telling her all about Woody when she asks. Buzz is challenged by Ducky and Bunny. They want to be in the top prize spot so they get to go home with the kid as soon as possible. Ducky tries kicking him, but can't without Bunny's help. Buzz shuts his helmet to pinch Ducky's foot, and it's the leverage he needs to get free. Bunny and Ducky aren't as thrilled to be off the wall, and chase after Buzz, saying he owes them a kid. Woody, Bo, Giggs, and the sheep all crash into the skunk, and Woody accidentally breaks off Bo's arm. She screams, but it turns into a hysterical laugh because it's happened so many times before. She just grabs some tape. Giggs interviews Bo about her feelings for Woody, but she swears there's nothing to tell. Giggs catches the sheriff staring at Bo, seconds before they leap across umbrellas to reach Second Chance Antiques. They're spotted by Buzz as they hop to the roof. Woody tells Bo all about the toys that are still together. Buzz runs up and has a quick reunion with Bo before Bunny and Ducky tackle him. Woody stops them by promising to take them to Bonnie, and they're blissfully happy. Buzz asks about Forky, and all Woody can say is it's a long story. Bonnie is devastated. Jessie realizes they're about to leave, so they have to stop them. Otherwise, they'll never see Woody or Buzz again. She flattens the RV's tire. Everyone agrees to follow Bo's lead and remain quiet. They don't just have to avoid the dummies, but the cat as well. Bo says they're going to make a jump across with the help of a friend, but Woody says he needs to get Forky now. He runs out, and Bo quickly follows him after telling the others to stick to the plan. It doesn't take long for them to be found by the dummies. Woody narrowly avoids being seen, and Bo chases after her sheep, stuck to Benson's butt. She blames Woody for failing to follow her lead. He apologizes and promises to listen now, but it's a little too late for Bo not to be mad at him. Giggs tell Buzz all they have to do is get the key. Ducky and Bunny throw out a few different ideas. Benson updates Gabby, and Forky tells him that before he can go back with Bonnie, they're going to play hide and seek. Bo is furious with Woody as they make their way to a secret hideout. Bo has many friends that greet her even before they find Duke Kaboom. When Bo tells him she lost Billy, Goat, and Gruff after a toy decided to wander out into the aisle, Duke says that the toy would have to be a complete idiot not to go behind the shelves. They need to jump over the aisle to Gabby's cabinet, and they can't make it without him. When Woody brings up his kid, Duke tells him about Regine. He was his Christmas present. He was ready to do what he was made to do, but Regine threw him away as soon as he failed to jump as far as the commercial. Bo says all he needs to do is crash, and reminds him he's the greatest daredevil Canada has ever seen. Just then, Gigs, Buzz, Ducky, and Bunny all meet up with them, holding the key to the cabinet. It was easier to get than they expected, but they tell the others it was very difficult. While they set up the jump, Bo says she thinks Woody would be a great lost toy, and that after they rescue Forky and the sheep, she's leaving town. She asks Woody why he came into Second Chance Antiques in the first place, and he admits it was the light from her lamp. He wanted to see her again. They have a peaceful moment together before Bo tells him he'll be making the jump with Duke. At the last minute, Duke sees Regine and doubts himself, cutting the jump short. Woody jumps onto the cabinet and Bo meets him with the key. They find Forky, but things go downhill when the dummies show up and try to catch all of them. During the commotion, Gigs is swallowed by the car and Buzz finds Bonnie's backpack. A chaotic escape train forms off the cat, who regurgitates Gigs. Everyone regroups, while Woody is determined to get back inside and save Forky. No one else is on the same page, and Bo presses Woody to explain why he thinks he has to do this. He says Bonnie needs Forky, but Bo says it's because Woody thinks he needs Bonnie. All he has to do is open his eyes to realize there are plenty of kids out there. But Woody says that he has loyalty, something a lost toy would know nothing about. Bo is hurt, but she tells him she's not the one who's lost. Bunny says they'll find their own kid, and Ducky says he's crazy. Buzz says he did what he could, and it's time to go home. Woody refuses, saying he won't ever leave a toy behind, but he doesn't realize he's left Buzz behind. Buzz consults his inner voice to conclude it's time to head back to the RV without his friend. Gabby meets Woody right away, and explains that she was defective right out of the box, so she never got the same chance as Woody to spend all those years with Andy. Not only that, but he also got a second chance with Bonnie. She just wants one of those moments to be loved the way Woody has. He says to leave him Forky and she can have his voice box. The flat tire back at the RV has been fixed moments before Buzz returned. He says they need to extract Woody and Forky from the antique store and banks on Bonnie remembering her backpack, but she doesn't. Buzz continues consulting his inner voice, and Bonnie's mom tries to figure out how to turn him off. Before he's shut in a cabinet, he yells out that Bonnie's backpack is at the antique store, and Bonnie yells the same. Dad turns the camper around, with Gigs criticizing Woody's behavior. Bo defends him, saying his bravery and refusal to give up on Forky's rescue is worth admiring. Within a moment, she decides she's got to help him. Woody wakes up after having his voice box professionally taken out. He and Forky watch Gabby meet Harmony for the first time, and hear her voice box say she loves her. It's a beautiful moment, until Harmony throws her into a box, unimpressed. Just then, Bonnie arrives for her backpack. Woody decides he must do the right thing. He tells Forky to tell Buzz to get the RV to the merry-go-round. Forky says he absolutely understands, but asks what a merry-go-round is. Woody says it's the spinny thing with lights and horses. Forky corrects him to carousel. Gabby is broken-hearted and doesn't want to go with Woody. He sits down with her, and in the quiet moment they hear children playing. Woody says a wise toy once told him that there are many children out there, and any one of them could be the one that's meant to love her. Just then, Bo arrives, agreeing with Woody and helping Gabby to stand up. Buzz receives the news to get to the carousel, and they wonder how they'll be able to pull this off. The little horse wants the dad to go to jail, but Dolly says it isn't going to happen. Jessie hears the GPS, and it gives her a genius idea. When the coast is clear, all the toys leave the antique store. The carriage topples over and gives an innocent woman quite a fright. Bo Peep and Woody get the idea that Duke Kaboom can help them soar from the Ferris wheel to the rooftops, leading them straight to the carousel. By pretending to be the voice of the GPS, the toys convince Bonnie's dad to exit back toward the carnival. Duke Kaboom is extremely nervous about doing this big of a jump. He barely made the cabinet, and that was much closer. He ultimately decides this is his chance to prove Regine wrong, once and for all. The toys cross over one by one. Meanwhile, the parents are hesitating to listen to the GPS, but before they can turn around, the toys take over the pedals. All Bonnie's mom can do is scream for her husband to brake, but he can't. While the toys run, Gabby happens to spot a little girl, lost and crying. She can't help but feel this is the girl she's destined to meet. The RV turns off and on as the toys plug and unplug the electrical wires. The parents are scared, professing their innocence to the police that shouts for them to pull over. Gabby is nervous, but Woody reminds her what she said, that this is the noblest thing a toy can do. After finding Gabby, the little girl has the courage to ask for help finding her parents. When the RV finally comes to a stop right beside the carousel, the parents are asked to step out of the vehicle. Forky keeps them locked out for as long as it takes. Woody says a tearful goodbye to Bo Peep. He remembers the box all those years ago, and it breaks his heart. Buzz tells him she'll be okay. Bonnie will be okay. He tells him to listen to his inner voice, and it's just the urge Woody needed to make the right decision. The rest of the gang comes up to say goodbye, and it's the hardest thing the toys have ever had to face. When Forky comes up to say goodbye, the awning starts closing, so they rush off. Bo takes Woody to the top of the carousel, where they watch their dear friends depart. Buzz and Woody say, to infinity and beyond. Ducky and Bunny help Woody and Bo get all the prized toys for a kid. Duke Cabum believes they really do have laser eyes. Bonnie made another friend in class, a plastic butter knife. She asks Forky if she's trash, but he lovingly says they're toys, and he will explain everything. She asks why she's alive, and he admits he has no idea.